So we'll get started. So welcome everyone. It's great evening to be on Zoom.
Yeah.
So my name is Judy Beaver. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of Wheaton. We serve the communities of Carol Stream, Warrenville, West Chicago, Wheaton, of course, and Winfield. Our league is happy to be presenting these follow-up programs to our civic awareness series. And again, everyone is welcome to attend and the programs are free. So we hope you'll continue to engage in our community programs as well as the civic awareness programs. Just a little bit about the league. The league is a strictly nonpartisan political organization that never supports or opposes any candidate or political party. The men and women of the league are committed to providing fact-based information and open discussion forums to help voters make their own decisions. Founded in 1920 out of the suffrage movement, the league is one of the oldest, most respected and recognized nonpartisan organizations in the nation. Our mission is to defend democracy and empower voters by registering and educating voters. So before Pam Zimmerman introduces our county board members, I'd like to mention that there will be a question and answer period after the speakers' presentations. And so if you have questions, please put them in the chat. So Pam will be handling those questions. And just another thing, please mute yourself so we eliminate background noise. And I will pass it over to Pam. Thanks, Pam.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome again on behalf of the League. I am pleased this evening to introduce some county board members who have agreed to join us this evening. So maybe you can wave to everyone when I mention your name. First, we have County Board Member Greg Schwartz. Is it Schwartz? Did I say it? Schwartz? How do you say your last name?
It's actually pronounced Schwarzy, but it's a common mistake.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was a classroom teacher, so it's not acceptable to mispronounce names. So thank you for correcting me. So Greg has introduced himself, and then Lynn LaPlante is here with us this evening. Nice to see you, Lynn. And Sheila Rutledge from the county board. And I should be able to pronounce her name because we go way back. But I wanted to mention that board member Jim Zay was going to be with us this evening and joining us a little later, but had a last minute conflict with another meeting that came up. So he will not be joining us tonight. And also that board member Ozog and Eckhoff were also invited to join us, but had other commitments this evening. But we welcome our 3 county board members, and we're excited to hear what you have to share with us. The order of presentations will take about 7-8 minutes for each board member to present information tonight, starting with Greg Schwarzy, then followed by Lynn, and then followed by Sheila. And as Judy already mentioned, you can begin putting your questions in the chat, and we will get to as many of those that our board members are able to answer in the time that we have allocated this evening, which is approximately 1 hour. All right, so the order of presentations that I was given from Barb Layman's is that Greg Schwarzy will speak first. So Greg, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you, League of Women Voters, for having all of us. And thank you to all the guests here watching. I'm going to just a little bit about myself first. I am in the middle of my first term on the DuPage County Board. I'm a Carol Stream resident. I've lived here since 1999. I just retired after 28.5 years as a career firefighter paramedic as of about 2 months ago. So if you are not retired yet, you should try it. It's absolutely wonderful. So, and just for the record, that's why I'm sporting a little bit of chin hair here, because for 28.5 years, I was not allowed to have some chin hair. So we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. So I also served as a Carol Stream Village trustee for almost 14 years until 2020 when I won my election to the county board. So I have an extensive civic community government experience. So the committees I'm on the county board include the Judicial Public Safety. I'm on the Intergovernmental Committee. I'm the Vice Chair of the Health and Human Services Committee. I am on the Collective Bargaining Committee. I'm on Public Transportation. But the committee, the information I'm going to speak of today revolves around the Emergency Telephone System Board, which I am the chair of that committee. And I will tell you, it is a very unglamorous committee, but it is very, very vital. And I'm guessing that probably everybody on this Zoom meeting will probably learn a little bit something about it. So I do have a PowerPoint. So it's just kind of a generic PowerPoint, but it'll help me keep tabs on my time and my the information I want to present. So I need to share screen first. I have never done this before, so please bear with me. So
you should be able to see a green button. Maybe
I think I got it. Yep, I think I got it. Does that look like, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. I want to put my glasses on here. So, well, what is the Emergency Telephone System Board? It basically, in a nutshell, every resident in Illinois who either owns a landline telephone or a cell phone is charged a $1.50 tax, whether you want to be or not. If you look on any of your phone bills, and if you have 3 cell phone bills, you'll be charged a $1.50 per cell phone. And that money it's a state tax that's collected by the state, and it's 100% of it's earmarked toward 911 emergency services. So I was appointed chairman of this committee for obvious reasons. I've been in the emergency 911 service for many, many years. So and so this money, because the state doesn't want to have to sit there and I guess micromanage every single community with this money, they dole it out to the counties. But because this is not county money, this is actually state money, they had to create what's called the Emergency Telephone System Board. And so basically we are in charge of this money that comes from the state, and we make sure that our county is provided excellent 911 services. The interesting part of this committee is, even though it is overseen by the county, the committee itself is made up of 12 members, which only 3 of us are county board members. The rest of the committee is made up of various members of the community. We have 2 representatives from the DuPage Mayors and Managers group. We have somebody from the Illinois Police Chiefs, or DuPage County Police Chiefs. We have somebody that's a representative of the DuPage County Fire Chiefs. We have members from the actual 911 centers, which are called PSAPs, for short, PSAP. That's a PSAP is actually who answers the phone when you call 911. So there's 2 of them that are in DuPage County that fall under our ETSB group. We have a member of the Sheriff's Department. We have a member from emergency medical services field, strictly ambulance type of stuff. And then we have a citizen rep. Also on the committee are members of the treasurer and the county clerk's office. And you can see all the representatives there. This makes this committee very, very unique, and it poses some challenges, because whereas pretty much every other committee, I have the ability to work things out with my fellow board members. We can discuss things and we can come to a consensus and vote on things. The thing about this committee is everybody represents various agencies. So the DuPage, we have 2 representatives from DuPage Mayors and Managers. They have to represent every single mayor and manager, that falls within our jurisdiction, which is everybody in DuPage County, aside from Naperville and Aurora. Naperville and Aurora have their own ETSB systems because they are so big. So our ETSB covers everybody in DuPage County, but Naperville and Aurora. But so sometimes we don't get answers as fast as we want when we're discussing certain things. You know, the fire representative has to go back and bring information back to the fire chiefs. And because there's so many agencies that are affected by the 911 service. So moving on. Now, not too long ago, approximately a decade ago, we had 22 911 centers. So again, I'm PSAPs, Public Service Access Point is what that stands for. We had 22, and now we are down to 2. There's consolidation going on long before I joined this group, but they've able to consolidate. So good and bad, 20 different 911 centers are no longer in business, and we're down to 2, which handle, again, all fire and police 911 agencies in DuPage County, aside from Naperville and Aurora. So the benefits of that is obviously it saved the county, it saved taxpayers lots and lots of money. Probably an even better advantage to that is, if any of you have ever called 911 from your cell phone, say a decade or so ago, depending on what town you're in or what town your phone service is, you may not have gotten the 911 center closest to you. If you were in, let's say you were in the east side, let's say you're in Elmhurst, but you live in West Chicago and your phone service is West Chicago, you call 911, it was going to ring to your 911 service out of West Chicago, nowhere near where you're at now. So if you called 911, if any of you have ever had to do that, they used to ask you, okay, where are you calling from? Where's your cell phone service? And you'd have to tell them, and then they'd actually send you to that other dispatch center. So the consolidation has gone really well. We are now down to 2, one out of Addison, the Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center, which is called ACDC, and then DuCom, which is actually on the campus of the county, just right off of County Farm Road. We'll skip that one, a little bit boring. You know, just some budget highlights. We have an annual operating budget just under $9 million. Okay, and we actually bring in about $14 million a year from the state. Because DuPage County is so, well, for a better lack of terms, we're a well-to-do county. We have lots of people with lots of phones and lots of $1.50 surcharge tax every month. So we have it pretty good. DuPage County doesn't get every dime from the phone owners in DuPage County, because the state wants to make sure all counties have you know, the best 911 system they can buy. So some of our money from DuPage County gets shipped out to some other counties, but our annual operating budget is about $9 million. We also have a capital contingency account, and I'm going to show you this slide here. If you just look under fiscal year 2022, our operating budget almost $8.8 million. We have 2.4 million in capital. So that would be items that are supplying these 911 dispatch centers, the PSAP. So office furniture, for instance, would be something that would fall under capital. We also have a capital contingency, and you see that has approximately, we're spending $25 million here in 2022. Capital contingency is kind of like a savings account. When some of these electronic type of equipment that 911 centers use go bad, we have this money in there to be able to replace those. So I will say, and I'm just about done here, that that cost, that $24 million that we are going to be spending in 2022 is a huge, I guess, bragging point, if I have to say so. We are going to be purchasing every fire department and every police department in DuPage County that falls under our ETSB, brand new interoperable radios. So interoperable radios became popular, became needed really decades ago. It was noticed in 9/11 when you had multiple police and fire agencies, not just New York City, but coming from all over to help, go through the, go through the ruins and so forth. There was a big problem with the different agencies being able to talk to each other. So the country started looking at what can we do to get radios that will allow us to talk to everybody, no matter what agency you're on. So back in 2010, the ETSB decided to make a one-time purchase of purchasing interoperable radios for all the fire departments and all the police departments. It was the first time we had interoperable radios. I was a user of those radios, and they're absolutely wonderful. They save lives. It's a benefit to everybody. It was going to be a one-time purchase, and from that point on, everyone else would have been responsible for replacing their radios. All 100 and some odd agencies that use those in DuPage County. The radios themselves were top of the line Motorola radios, but they had a life warranty of 10 years. And after 10 years is up, they quit making parts, they quit making batteries, and all these radios are now, the warranties are gone. These radios are about $8,000 a piece. So if, for instance, I live in Carol Stream. If Carol Stream wanted to replace their 90 radios for their police officers and their 70 radios for their firefighters, it's going to cost $500,000 for them to do that. So when I became the chair of this committee in December of 2020, I looked immediately, because I knew these radios, being a firefighter, I was privy to information that, hey, these radios are expiring. I looked at our account. Our executive director did a wonderful job budgeting over the last decade. We had the money in there, and we are. It took a lot of discussion. It took a lot of educating. And back in November of this year, at our ETSB meeting, we had a unanimous vote of our 12 members to go ahead and purchase these radios for everybody in DuPage County. So that's I guess the most exciting news about this. One other thing I want to point out is things that are coming up. Part of my position as the chair of ETSB, along with being vice chair of Health and Human Services, is I was pushing very strongly for enacting a 211 phone system in DuPage County. What 211 is, it's like 911, except when you dial, you have an emergency, you dial 911, you're going to get an answer. 211 system is an easily obtained access to our DuPage County Health and Human Services Department. DuPage County, and I don't want to step on Member LaPlante's toes, because she's going to talk a lot about Health and Human Services, I believe. But we have a wonderful Health and Human Services department in DuPage County. They offer so much. Many people don't even know it exists, and many people that do know it exists don't know exactly how to get a hold of them. And of course, there's normal working hours when someone will answer the phone. 211 is a system where you need to get a hold of social services. You can dial 211. You will get an answer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And they will direct you to the appropriate person for whatever issue you need help with. So that's another big win for us. And I guess that ends my I went over the 8 minutes. I'm sorry. but I'll be around for questions. So thank you.
Okay, great. Do you want to, Judy, can you take that down, or does Greg need to stop
Let me
sharing?
see. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this.
There you go. Very good. Okay, great. Well, thank you, Greg, for that information, and thank you for your service on the county board. We'll move next to Lynn LaPlante. And Lynn, are you going to discuss, as forementioned by Greg, Health and Human Services?
I am not, actually.
All right.
I'm going to surprise you all.
So sorry. So sorry.
Including Greg,
Great.
yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Lynn LaPlante, and I'm from District 4. I live in Glen Ellen. We've been in Glen Ellen for, let's see, 19 years now, 18 years. And I have 4 children. My youngest is at St. Pet's in 5th grade. I've got 2 at Glenbard West. And then we just hit that parenting milestone of our oldest going away to college. So he's at University of Colorado in Boulder, living his best life, skiing, and I don't know why we're not all in Boulder right now, living like him, I tell you what. So I was elected in 2020, and I just love all of the work that I've been doing on the DuPage County Board. And I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to talk to you guys and give you updates. And I wanted to just say thank you for being interested. Thank you for paying attention, and thank you for caring, because we toil away, and do all this hard work. And this is what we would love to talk about. And I would also like to say that my husband probably says thank you on his behalf, because you guys get to hear about it and he gets a night off. So I would like to talk about the work that I'm doing and that is closest to my heart on the DuPage County Board. I am chair of the Community Development Committee. I call this my Jimmy Carter work. He's one of my heroes. And so this is the work that Jimmy Carter does. It's about feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, taking care of the least among us. We are so lucky at DuPage County to have the most amazing staff. They have years and years of institutional knowledge. Their professionalism is really off the charts. And so I just want you all to know that we are all in very good hands, just even from the staff level at the DuPage County. So one of our biggest accomplishments that we had this year to celebrate with the Community Development Committee is funding DuPage County's first permanent homeless shelter. I mean, please, everyone clap. This is a big deal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, this is in partnership with DuPage Pads, and it's going to be, it's an old red roof inn in Downers Grove. So there are so many people that are experiencing homelessness, and the numbers are pretty shocking because, as Greg referenced earlier, we think of DuPage County as an extremely well-resourced community, and it is. But guess what? This pandemic has pulled back. Now it exposed people who are really struggling, and there are a lot of people struggling during this pandemic. Obviously, there was people struggling beforehand, but this is shining a light on those areas where we really need to come in and help. So we have been able to set aside $5 million in funding, and that is from $3 million from a community development block grant, and then $2 million in coronavirus relief fund from the American Rescue Plan Act. That's what we call ARPA. So using those funds in partnership with DuPage Pads is going to have a huge impact on people experiencing homelessness. The most people who use this hotel are women and children, especially those fleeing domestic violence situations. And what makes this different from like a congregate setting for a homeless shelter, like in a church basement or what we're more familiar with, here, families can be together, shut the door, own bathroom, bathe their children, that sort of thing. So this is absolutely important for the well-being and health of these children who are caught in this homeless cycle. And this is what's going to help break that homeless cycle. So it offers a real stability and a home-like environment. So that's terribly exciting, and we couldn't be more proud of that. The other aspect about that that's so beautiful is that when that went before the county board, there's 18 of us voting members, and it passed 18-0. So anytime you see a county board member, thank them, because this is bipartisan work, which is really my favorite work. This is how we should all be coming together. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the HEART Task Force. That's an acronym that stands for Health, Equity, Accessibility Response Team. So I asked to be a part of this because I am fascinated by the response that we are mounting to the pandemic. And I wanted to, anything I could do to help, I wanted to be a part of it. If you've been paying attention, and obviously if you're here tonight, you've been paying attention. Another amazing group that we have is our health department. And the DuPage County Health Department has mounted one of the best pandemic responses in the country. So again, be very proud of the work being done right here in your backyard. So sitting on this HEART task force, it was about making sure that there was equity involved in access to getting the vaccine, and also where there was some vaccine hesitancy, going into those communities or targeting those specific groups and educating them and making sure that they felt safe and comfortable receiving the vaccine. So that was our number one goal, shots in arms. So to that end, we worked on some PSAs, some public service announcements. And I brought in a couple of people that are my connections. My conductor, I'm a musician by background, Orbert Davis, and he made a PSA, played his trumpet, and he talked to encouraging people, trust the science, trust him, he got it, it's safe, get vaccinated. So when that came out a year ago, that was really impactful and very powerful. You can see these PSAs on the DuPage County Health Department's YouTube. And so this was a really big deal. Then I reached out to the winningest football coach in DuPage County. Any Glenbard West hitter fans here? That's Coach Chad Hetlett. Yes. And so he was and these people, they did this pro bono. And he knew that the people that were having some of those rallies and really not happy about having to get vaccines or mask mandates were a lot of these parents that wanted to see their kids get back in playing sports. So I thought, he's the one that they will listen to. And they did. So he also made a wonderful PSA for us. So those are two projects that I really love doing and reaching into my own personal network to get people to step up and get involved in public service. And then the third initiative that I'd like to talk about is also something completely brand new. And this is, I think you might remember if I came around and talked, when I was running for office. And I was saying we needed people from different backgrounds elected to public service. So I would like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you as a candidate and for your support and votes, because guess what? I'm bringing my background and I'm putting it to use at the DuPage County Board. When we made committees, I looked at our budget. We have an annual operating budget of $500 million, that's with a B, $500 million. And I noticed that not $1 was set aside for the arts. And I believe in a community like ours of almost 1 million people, that's just simply unacceptable. The way I look at it is to have the highest quality of life, you have to have a vibrant arts community. The other piece of the arts is, guess what? It drives economic development. All the data is there. Every single study, every single research that's been done all around the country, all around the world, proves when you have a vibrant arts community, you have a thriving and dynamic economic situation as well. So combining those two forces, we created the Ad Hoc Fine Arts Committee. Sheila is my vice chair, and she can speak to that later. And so we made this also a bipartisan committee. That is something that I insisted upon, and I'm very proud of that as well. Because like I've always said, if we can't get along at the local level, what hope is there for us at the national level? So I'm starting here. So this effort is going to focus on partnering up with the economic engine in DuPage County, and that is Choose DuPage. That's our business community. Also the DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau. So all of these organizations, I went to them individually, asked if they would participate, and if I could build a bridge between the different organizations and the county board so we could all partner up. So far, what I put together for this committee, I have to look because there's a lot of names now. So I've already told you about Choose DuPage, DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau, the DuPage Foundation, Arts DuPage, the DuPage County Fairgrounds, WDCB, that's out of COD, the Chicago Federation of Musicians, Orbert Davis, he's with the Chicago Jazz Philharmonic, Moore Arts and Polo Grounds, and the Old Town School of Music. All of those organizations said, heck yes, count me in, I'm with you. So this is an unbelievable committee. I'm proud of what we've been able to do in such a short amount of time. We're kicking it off by hosting the first annual DuPage Community Arts Festival. You're all invited. It's going to be held on the DuPage County Fairgrounds Memorial Day weekend. So please join us. That's May 27th and May 28th. And we're going to have visual arts, music, dance, theater, everything from children, local kids groups, and non-professional groups like Elmhurst Symphony or DuPage Symphony, all the way up to really big names and crowd drawers. We're going to have food, beverages. It's going to be phenomenal. So please watch this space or email me anytime, reach out to myself or Sheila. We'd be thrilled to give you more information. Let's see. I think that's about it. It's a lot, but again, thank you for being interested. Thank you for paying attention. We love to talk about our work. So, bombard us with questions. We actually love that. And anytime, feel free to reach out to us. This is what we're here for. We're here for you. We want to talk, we want to help. And I love to hear any of your comments in the Q&A section. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Lynn. And thank you as well for your service to the county. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate you being here tonight. And last but not least, I'm going to reintroduce Sheila Rutledge, and she can tell you a little bit about herself and maybe surprise us with what she's going to talk about tonight.
Thank you, Pam. I only have a couple things to talk about, well, with some details, but first I want to thank the League for giving us this opportunity. I'm sure I don't have to tell any of you that it is an election year for all of us on the county board. So anytime we get the opportunity to be able to talk with our constituents and share what it is we've done on the board and what we hope to do, it's always a good opportunity. So thank you so much for that. I see some friends here, and I hope that I will see others as friends going forward. So thank you again for that. So I'm Sheila Rutledge. I have been a resident of Illinois all but 10 years. I had to go meet my husband and import him back here. I have 2 children. I live in West Chicago. And sadly, my husband passed away 6 weeks after I won the primary in 2018. And so I will be eternally grateful to the voters of DuPage to hand me the new life I had to create when my life turned upside down. So I will always be grateful for that. And I hope I'll have the opportunity to serve another term. I'm the chairman of the Environmental Committee, and my hope is to really put some teeth into that committee. I think that with the state of our environment, we need to step up. So I am doing as much push on that as I can. I try to walk the walk myself. I have solar panels on my house. I compost my food scraps. I'm slowly turning my turf grass into clover for pollinators. I'm a big recycler, and I'm sure I can tell a lot of you already know the name. I work quite a bit with Scarce and Kay McKean to distribute books that she saves from landfill to food pantries. And so whatever I can do from an environmental standpoint, I love to do those things. In my first 4 years, some of the highlights of my first 4 years were I got a hen keeping ordinance passed in unincorporated areas. So I was the 3rd county board member in 28 years to try to do that. And the first got so inundated with negative comments that they removed their resolution, but I pushed it through to the end. It did go through unanimously. And so we gave people in DuPage County a way to have protein right in their own backyard during a pandemic. And I thought that was, a little silly about hens, but it was the timing of it that was important. I directed $300,000 of CARES Act money to the arts community at the worst of the pandemic as well. And I also got $45,000 to $5,000 to each one of the townships to seed a diaper bank, again, during the worst of the pandemic. So I'm proud of those achievements, and I have a lot more things on my agenda that I'd like to do. From the environmental committee standpoint, one of the first initiatives that we passed was called the Dark Skies Initiative. And basically that is fighting light pollution. It upsets the wildlife. It's bad for our circadian rhythms. So there's just a lot of reasons that we need to be better stewards of how we light our environment, not bathe everything in as much light as possible because it throws off a lot of things. I secured a $25,000 donation to the county from some benefactors that want to see solar panels at our county. So right now we're working on the best use of those funds, and hopefully the county will at least match that amount of money so that we can provide some good solar arrays to power our county buildings. I recently have worked with Geneva's Mayor Kevin Burns and the mayors and managers on a climate action plan. And basically what they're saying is that we can't wait for DC to make changes that are beneficial to our environment anymore. We've got to start working on those things as a local level. So we're taking a hard look at that climate action plan to see what parts of it we can pull out to implement quickly in DuPage County to start really getting a handle on climate change. We got the code red letter from the General Assembly a couple of months ago saying that we really must act. And so that is my goal, is to try to move people on our county board as quickly as I can toward sustainable solutions to reverse climate change. I mentioned Kay McKean at Scarce. I go often to her place. I take children's books to the food pantries, and I've been helping her with an initiative she calls Literacy at the Laundromat. And what she's done with our help is to paint up little bookshelves that we put in laundromats. Some of those kids come to a laundromat and it takes them a couple of hours to get that process done with their families, and they have nothing to do while they're there. So Kay, 2 weeks ago, we put a new one in a laundromat in Warrenville. We stocked it with 195 brand new books. And each person that comes to do laundry is welcome to take one of those books home, because the statistics are pretty grim about literacy and how just a few books in the home really jumpstarts the ability of those kids to be more successful later in life. But I think it was something like 60% of low-income houses have not even one book. So it makes us feel good to be able to put at least one book in those kids' hands, and they can take another one each and every time they come back and do the laundry. Couple of little things that we've done as an environmental committee is last year we set up a recycling event for political signs. And with that coming up pretty soon, we have planned to do that again. And thank you to Lakeshore Recycling for providing a dumpster for us. We just stay, people come and bring their political signs so we can keep those things out of the landfill. As far as the county's environmental focus, I have had staff move to do a sustainability audit and to see what we're doing as a county that's good for our environment and what we could do better. So we'll be looking for results to that pretty soon. And kind of on those audits that come along, I also got them to do a pay study at our county, because I had the feeling that we were not compensating our people well. And as it turned out, we did find that we were below all of the surrounding counties and what we were paying our employees and executives, and that we were losing valuable people because our process took too long too. So pretty much the board granted them about a 5% across the board raise, especially in this time with the pandemic and inflation. That I don't think that could have come at a better time for our employees, and that is one of our most valuable assets. We have 2,000 employees for the county, and we need to make sure that we're keeping those people and that talent for the benefit of our taxpayers. Oh, what else do I want to talk about? We will be redoing our trash contract for the county campus, and I've insisted that those bids include food scrap composting, because all of that food scrap in the landfills produces methane gas, which is much more much worse for our environment than CO2. So that's an easy, one of those little easy things that we can do. And I'll give kudos to the sheriff because he has great big composters. They already are doing that at the county jail. On my notes, I just saw something I for sure. One of the things that I'm working with right now is I live in an unincorporated area, and municipalities all secure a single trash hauler contract for the people that live in their city. But in the county, we don't have anything like that. So on my particular street, and I see Sean Hacker on the call tonight, I have 4 trash days in my neighborhood, and I have 6 companies that service. So that's 12 of those huge trash trucks that are up and down my street every week. Sean's worse still. He's got 5 trash days in his neighborhood. But the CO2 that it emits, the wear and tear on our roads, it's difficult on nights like this. If we had trash cans out there, it's hard for the highway commissioners to come through and plow. So I am working to get a single trash hauler contract in the unincorporated areas for each of the townships. I am stepping a little bit on the township area, but they would have to do it per each township by referendum, where if we can get this through the county as a zoning ordinance, it would just come through as a zoning ordinance and would include all of the townships that don't currently have a single trash hauler contract. So I think that from an environmental aspect, that is huge. I think that pretty much takes care. Oh, and then the other committees that I'm on the technology committee, economic development, the development committee, the Lynn LaPlante's ad hoc for fine art. I am vice chair. I am a photographer by trade, so she and I are the artists on our board. And so I'm so glad she has such great ideas for how to give the artists in our community a leg up after this horrible pandemic, because it has not been easy for them. And I think I have, and I just saw it on my notes. The last thing, I am on the development committee because I have done real estate investment. And so I've always been intrigued by tiny houses and alternative housing. And so right now, kind of the big buzzword in housing is what they call ADUs, or accessory dwelling units. And these are your granny shacks or your little coach houses in the back. Currently, Cook County has some test areas where they're allowing that. The state of California is allowing it throughout the whole state. So I want to further that discussion in DuPage County, because I think that anything we can do to help increase the stock of living opportunities in our county, plus to be able to keep those costs down, I think is a worthy thing to go forward with at this point. So like the others, I'll wait to hear whatever questions you have for me. Thank you all.
Well, thank you, Sheila. Thank you for the information that you shared, and thank you for your service. You've been involved in a lot of things, as have the other 2 members that have spoken this evening. So we have about 10 minutes for questions, and I have picked a few in the chat. The first one comes from Catherine, and you've already started speaking about this a little bit, Sheila, in your pretty comprehensive look at what's going on with the Energy Committee. But can you kind of describe in a little bit more detail, perhaps, what the county might, do more of to promote clean energy alternatives, here in DuPage?
We do have a page on our website called Cool DuPage, So you can log on there and it'll have for business, for residential, there's about 6 different clicks that you can make. It will give you information on energy audits and things you can do to make your home more energy efficient, and just some great ideas to jumpstart that idea when people start thinking, you know, it's time for us to do a better job with our environment. So that'd be the first place I would direct people, is to the Cool DuPage. So with my urging and a couple other board members, we are finally starting to buy electric vehicles at the county when it makes sense. And the one thing I think that turf grass is a ridiculous thing, and we spent $200,000 a year to cut turf in mostly intergovernmental agreements with other communities. And just recently, we actually bought 2 electric big mowers to take care of some of that work. So we're not spewing, because those lawn mowers spew a lot of CO2. So we are slowly trying to take a look at more electric vehicles and charging stations and things like that. So we are moving those things forward.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The second question that we have in the chat is for Greg. And the question to you, Greg, is: in the event of floods, is the ETS structure used to notify citizens of threat or road closures, for example?
You know, it is indirectly used. So it's what we call reverse 911, and you can register, anyone in the county can register for reverse 911. And what happens then, if there is an emergency or some vital information that needs to be handed out to specific residents, whether it's the entire county or whether it's a community, they have your contact information. They'll create whatever. It's usually it comes from usually from the municipality, but you register on the county. You can go on the DuPage County webpage, and it gives you the opportunity to sign up. So ETSB provides the equipment that the 911 dispatch centers use to do that reverse 911. So if you sign up on the county page, it'll ask you where you live. It'll ask you what number you wanted to be contacted. You can have messages sent to your phone, to your email, to your house phone, and actually even text you as well. So yes, the answer is yes, indirectly, but you have to make sure you sign up for it. And then the community is the one who works with the dispatch center to send out most of those alerts. I will say this one other thing. The next greatest thing that's coming out in 911 is texting to 911. That doesn't exist right now. So it's certainly, the state is requiring us all the ETSBs and all the dispatch centers to come out and have that availability, I believe, by 2023. So someone is in a bad situation, an unsafe situation, and they can't, get on their telephone or even their cell phone to make a call. You can text 911 and text your message, and that's going to be another great thing. So thanks for the question.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. And this third question is for Lynn. One of the viewers just wanted to know, what's the capacity of the Red Roof Inn?
Great question. It's 130 units. So it's really going to be game changing. And then the other thing that it's hoping to be open. The goal is to open spring of 2022. So this is really exciting, and it's right around the corner, and it's, like I said, going to be game changing. In addition to the 130 units, they're also setting aside rooms, like one room for tutoring and school help, because, like I said, a lot of the people who will be staying here are families and children experiencing homelessness. So this will give them some stability, and volunteers are going to be able to come there and help with homework, do some tutoring. And then they also are setting up a room that's going to have things like laundry detergent, meals, some donated clothes. So this will be a really not just a place for them to have a safe place to stay, but also connect them with resources. And then the third idea and plan is to have one room for health issues. So they can see someone, they can have a visiting nurse or a visiting medical practitioner. Again, these are things that are very difficult to do and services to receive when you are experiencing homelessness. So this is going to be quite a project. Thank you.
Well, Lynn, while we have you there, someone just wrote in with the question, like, what do we expect the percentage of homeless that can be supported in the Red Roof Inn here in the county?
So in terms of our homeless population in DuPage, okay, that's a great question. I don't have the exact percentage, but I do know that this facility is going to be focused on families, women and children, people experiencing mobility issues, and those escaping domestic violence. So in other words, people who are going to need a little bit more privacy than a congregate setting would provide. So it's not, this is a facility with very specific intentions for use as well. So it's going to take those portions of those experiencing homelessness and shelter them here.
And will they be, another question came up, how will they be recruiting volunteers to come in and do tutoring and things like that?
Through DuPage Pads. So
Okay.
if you are interested, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to put you in touch with people from Pads. I would be honored to do that. And Pads, if you've not been involved with them, they are a wonderful organization, and they are always looking for volunteers and help.
Great.
They're a great community partner.
All right, the next question I think can actually be answered by any of the three of you, so we'll make it a toss-up. It's from Sean, though, and he asks, with the Odium closing, are there any plans in the county to really shore up the DuPage Fairgrounds?
Oh, you know, I'll take that first crack at that, Greg and Sheila, if you don't mind, just because that's who I've been working so closely with. I've been working with Jim McGuire of the DuPage County Fairgrounds. He is an institution of himself, in and of himself. He's been there for about 40 years. And that is exactly what part of our purpose is with this Fine Arts Initiative. And this is why I'm so specifically focused on the DuPage County Fairgrounds. Sean, to your point, it does need shoring up, the fairgrounds. And so we're extremely aware of that. And in my opinion, it's a diamond in the rough. I think this is an unbelievable resource right in our county seat, equidistance for the entire county. And I think it's a perfect location. So we have small plans, and then we have gigantic, Vicki, you have given me that expression, big, hairy, audacious goal. Is that we've talked about this before. So I've got some real pie in the sky dreams for those fairgrounds. So working extremely closely with Jim McGuire and the county. And like I said, all of these community partners who are 100% behind this initiative. And that's a beautiful thing. So yes, shore up and beyond. Let's just say that.
Greg and Sheila, anything to add?
You know, I'll comment. You know, before I was elected, I know that there was talk about the county selling it, you know, the county selling it. I haven't heard that talk lately, and I don't know if Lynn or Sheila have, but, you know, it was so vital with the COVID and the vaccinations and the testing. It was used most of 2020 and all of 2021 for that reason. And I know they started having shows in there again. I believe it was August that they had a train show. You know, Lynn's arts festival got postponed because of the COVID, but and then they're talking about moving Rib Fest there. So it does need a facelift, but it still seems to be very popular and people are still using it. So.
Yeah, I'll just say that I've known Jim McGuire for his kids and my kids were in the marching band together. So I've known Jim for several years, and I think he is so excited about a new innovative idea that Lynn's brought with the Fine Art Festival, because he understands that it's a little tired looking. We need some new initiatives. I don't think that the traditional fair is ever going to go away. But he is looking for new ideas to really revitalize that space. because I'm sure he doesn't want to see it go away either. So we've got a lot of cooperation all around on this effort. Nobody is giving us any pushback at all. So we're very happy about that.
Well, Lynn, there seems to be a lot of interest in the shelter. And Sean asks about family pets, and would those be allowed to be brought to the shelters?
Sean, I couldn't agree with you more, because pets are part of our family. I mean, that's how we are. We have a dog and 2 cats, and we plan our vacations to places that we can bring our dog. So I get it. I get it. You know, I don't know the answer to that question, and I'll find out because I love that question. I couldn't agree more. I do know that this is oftentimes how pets are surrendered to shelters, is when the family becomes homeless and they can no longer take care of their pets, or they're living in a car with their pets, and you can imagine the challenge. So I will ask that question and see if there's even like a partnership if a family does have a pet. And if they're not welcome, then is there something they can seek temporary shelter at our DuPage County animal shelter? So I will look into that, Sean, and get the answer for you.
Great.
And let me give 2 cents to animal services as well. I do sit on the animal services committee. No big surprise, big horse and dog lover. But we got a report just at our last committee meeting that they have a 89% live release rate. So any of the animals that come through the shelter, 89% of those get, you know, adopted out or put to foster, and that is an unheard of rate in this kind of a service. So they just do an unbelievable job. But put this on your radar, is their facility is woefully inadequate for what they do. They use every inch of that space. They do have designs for a beautiful new shelter. So please look for that opportunity to support that, because that's going to be coming around pretty soon. So we need to do more for our furry friends. So thank you.
Great. Sheila, one more thing, and then I think we will have had an opportunity to address everyone's questions. Catherine asks you about the sign holders, and aren't those important for recycling efforts? So I'll let you.
I did. I actually direct messaged her back. Yes.
Okay.
Lakeshore Recycling, pretty much that's what they want out of this. And they'll take the plastic signs just because they've got to get that to get to the metal stands. But yeah, that is the most recyclable. But they do have a vendor that will recycle the signs. It's just not as lucrative for them to do that. So, and I'm pleased about Lakeshore because they provide the dumpster. Actually, it's 2 dumpsters that they give us so that we can sort, and they do that without a charge. So I love Lakeshore because I'm a house flipper or have experience with that. And I always got our dumpsters from Lakeshore because they will actually go and sort out the recyclable materials, and like wood, they grind up into chip so that, you know, bark chip for your yards and things like that. So they are probably the most ecological focused trash hauler in our community. So I love them. Great.
Well, thank you. Thank you to our county board members. Thanks to our audience for those great questions. We really appreciate everybody's participation tonight. And I will turn our meeting back over to our president, Judy Beaver.
Thanks, Pam. Let me just reiterate that I want to thank our county board members, Lynn LaPlante, Sheila Rutledge, and Greg Schwartz for participating in tonight's discussion and actually telling us about your work in the county. We're really grateful you shared your evening with us. And as always, too, as Pam mentioned, thank you to our audience and your participation. We do appreciate it. So I just want to wrap up by saying, please join us next month for our civic awareness and local civic engagement programs, which will be Thursday, March 10th and the 17th. Daniel Biss, who's the mayor of Evanston, Illinois, will be presenting the presentation on ranked choice voting on the 10th. So please check our website for details and registration. And that's www.wheatonlwvil.org. So thank you, everyone, and good night.